How much did Ron lose by keeping his retirement portfolio safe? All right, I deal with this quite a bit, as a matter of fact, and it's somewhat frustrating to me. Not for my man Ronnie Reagan, but I hear these guys all the time after the fact. You know, Monday morning quarterback. So my man Ron's the guy who's dealing with today, working with today. He's a legend, and he's crushing. He and his better half. And let's just put it this way: if you're a legend and you're crushing, you're going to work with me. If you're not a legend and not crushing, you're going to work with these other guys, all right? Because legends attract legends. And I'm a legend, you're a legend, so that's what happens. So the guys I work and the ladies I work with are all inherently legends, all right? Looking at you, looking at you, looking at you, looking at you. All you other guys, you're non-legends. All right, so my man Ron is getting some ribbing at the office because he's been out of the market for a little bit. So Ron had 100,000, we'll just say $1 million, I should say, at the beginning of 2022, he put it all in cash, all in the stable value fund or whatever, money market. And for simplicity, we'll say he's getting 4% a year. All right, 4%. His buddy had $1 million, and he kept it in the S&P 500. All right. So what happened was Ron got $1 million, and next year he had $140,000, got 1.04. All right. This guy though was down 20%, so now he's at $800,000. All right, so right now Ron's like, man, I'm for $240,000 ahead of you, but this guy, because he's an S&P 500, got 1.25 the next year. All right, 1.25 on $800,000 is $1 million. So first of all, the first thing that should jump out at you is it takes 25% to make up a 20% decline. All right, this is without pulling money out either. If you're pulling money out, it takes a hell of a lot more than 25% to make up a 20% decline. But you got to know how the numbers work, the numbers of losses. Down 20%, you got to be up 25% to make up. Ron, because he wasn't down 20%, 104,000 times 1.100 1040000 times 1.04. Now he's up to 108.1. 108,160. 108, 108,160. 1600. All right, so Ron is up 81,000 over this guy. But this guy, the next year, also got 1.25, and Ron's only getting 1.04. All right, so Ron is now up to 1.04. 112, 112,486, 0. Where this guy's up to 1.25. So this guy now has an extra 125,000 more than Ron, right? And so this guy's now ribbing Ron, saying, you should have stayed in, you should have stayed in. Now, Ron's getting close to his full retirement age, right? So he's like, but could I have stayed in? This is what I was talking to Ron about. I said, look, because he felt bad. He's like, I think I made a mistake. I should have stayed in. I said, could you sleep at night? He goes, no. So if the markets are going like this, and it puts you out at 125, and you just went like this and puts you out at 112, really? Is that a big sacrifice? Is that such a big sacrifice? Especially when these two 25% rate of returns are not very usual. That doesn't happen very often. I can't remember. I did a video on this a couple times. Might be 3 times in histoire we've had twice more than 20% up on 2 consecutive years. Might be twice in history or 3 times in history. Something I can't remember. But it's very unusual. 20% declines are very usual. 100%. I'd say once every 5 years we go to a bear market. Maybe once every 4.5 years. So a 20% decline is very usual. It's very unusual that 25% increases back to back. Just doesn't happen. So if you're 50 years old, yeah, you should. I mean, if you can, that's fine. Because you're still adding to the portfolio. You're still putting money in. If you're about ready to retire, though, and you start taking money out, this doesn't look nearly as attractive, even though this guy's ribbing this guy. He's like, look at me, I made more money. All right, but what happens next year? All right? What happens the year after? Are you really going to expect another 25% rate of return? I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying, is Ron that far behind? that much further behind, given that he missed this year. And especially if you're on the cusp of retirement, I'd answer the answer is no. Ron isn't that far behind because he's like, man, I missed all that stuff. I could sleep at night. I still got 125,000 more than I started, 3 years ago without having the risk. This guy's got 250,000 more than he started with a risk, but he also remembers he was down to 800,000 bucks right there. So in 2025, what's he going to get? Let's just say he's down 5%. Let's say he's down 5 minus 5, and Ron again is up 1.04. Again, just for simplicity, 1.04. All right, so let's look at this. I'm just throwing this out there. But now we got 1,250 minus 5%. This guy's at 1187. 1187. Ron, on the other hand, at 1124860 times 1.04 is at 11698. Right? So we're getting pretty doggone close just with a negative 5% decline. So after 4 years, Ron is within spit distance of this guy, even though he's only averaged 4% a year, where this guy had the massive volatility. There's nothing wrong with preserving your portfolio, guys. There's nothing wrong. Obviously, if you're getting less than 1%, you got to do something with it most likely. But, man, there's nothing wrong. All right, love your thoughts. Smash that like button. We'll see you. God bless.